everyone, Annasha here from Shayla's Voice. Welcome back to our channel. To our returning subscribers, thank you for your loyalty. Thank you for your patience with us. If you're brand new here, welcome to our channel. Our channel is about our daughter Shayla. Shayla was diagnosed with autism, with the conditional diagnosis of RETT syndrome. Just about 2.5 years old, going on to 3. She's now 11 and thriving. So we decided to create this channel just to share our journey with her, share it with you guys, her ups, her downs, her good, her bad, everything about her we decided to share with the world. So it's an opportunity for you to learn, for you to grow, for you to just be with us on a day-to-day basis. So we welcome you. Please take some time and hit that subscribe button. When new videos get uploaded, you will be one of the first people to know. So let's get into this video. So it's been a while. We've been kind of sort of MIA for a while, but we're back now. It's been busy, and whenever it gets busy, it means that our home is filled with foster kids, and our foster kids take up all our time. So we have had over the summer, the last few months, actually spring into summer, we had actually 4 foster kids plus Shayla, and it's our first time having so many foster kids at once. And guess what? They were all boys, and they were all under 8 years old. Yeah, it was a journey, but we loved every moment of it, and they've now moved on, gone back home, which is great. So it's just Shayla, Sean, and myself in the home now. So I've decided to start recording again and start sharing Shayla's updates, and there are a lot of updates. Okay, so let's get right into it. So in the beginning of this video, I talked about, and other videos I've talked about, Shayla's conditional diagnosis of RETT syndrome. So the journey with RETT. So when we got her diagnosis at first, when Shayla was a baby, the first thing that we noticed that kind of sort of spoke to RETT is her hand ringing. She has always had hand ringing, and I've showed some videos with her doing her hand ringing. I talked about that a lot. She's always had that. So the doctor gave us, her neurologist gave us ASD, moderate to severe ASD with a conditional of RETT. Now we followed up with the whole RETT diagnosis by doing blood work at some point, and that was early on. So we did the blood work. We got referred by a developmental pediatrician to get the blood work done to check for the MECP2, I believe is what it's called. If I'm saying it wrong, I'll put it down here. MECP2, I believe, gene or trait, whatever they call it. So we did the blood work very early on, and lo and behold, it came back normal female. And I just recently looked at the paperwork again, and I'm like, oh, okay. Everything came back normal female. So we continued on our journey with ASD. Okay, Shayla has autism, Shayla has autism, Shayla has autism. Great. So we've been doing everything, as you know, we share with you guys, we've been doing everything that we can for her: speech, OT, PT, ABA. We've been doing everything that any parent with a child on the spectrum would do. So fast forward to last year. I don't remember what, oh, I know what it was. Shayla's pediatrician had a concern that she was not growing the way that she should, and I think I have a video on that as well. But her pediatrician was concerned about her growth. Being at the time 11, she's very petite. I mean, I'm petite, Sean's petite, Shayla's petite. So her pediatrician had that concern, and as a result, she sent us to do her bone age, as well as she referred us back to her neurologist. Now, I did talk about bone age before. There's definitely a video on that, so check it out. So her bone age came back, and it was fine. It was right where it needed to be. At the time 11, she's still 11. Bone age was fine. So we went to the neurologist, and the neurologist was 100% that Shayla has RETT syndrome. Now, we don't have anything to back that up except her hand ringing. She's nonverbal. Her head is small, so slow growth. Hand ringing, the nonverbal, I said that already. What else? There was something else that I can't remember. There was something else specific that he said, yeah, he really believes that Shayla has Rett syndrome. Okay, doctor, Shayla has Rett syndrome. You believe that? Let's get the test done. So he referred us to the hospital to get the genetic testing. Now, that was back in the summer of last year. Usually when you get a referral, you wait a little bit for them to call you. If they don't call you, you follow up. So I didn't hear anything, so I followed up. I followed up last year in November. Followed up with the hospital. They said to me that they never received the referral. Okay, you get a pass. Called the neurologist, got another referral sent in. Waited again a few weeks. Call back to follow up. When I followed up on the genetic testing, they said to me that no, she's not at the top of the wait list yet. There's some waiting to be done still. Okay, we're gonna wait. A few weeks passed, nothing. So I followed up again, and it's so funny. I followed up, and the lady, I guess she did whatever she did. She looked at whatever, and then she came back and she said, you know what? I'll be honest with you. There's a 3-year wait time. I'm like, what? Excuse me? 3-year wait time, and that was last year. So I would say December, maybe early January that I followed up. 3-year wait time to get my daughter tested for Rett syndrome through the genetics department. Why is there such a long wait time? They're blaming COVID, whatever. I'm like, oh my goodness. So at this point, and that's where we as parents need to advocate and stand up for our kids. At this point, I'm like, okay, I don't want to wait till 3 years. I need to know what's going on with my daughter. You want to know what's going on, right? So when I heard about the 3-year wait time, I called the neurologist, I called the pediatrician. Is there anything we can do to hurry this up? Because 3 years, Shayla's 11, 12, 13, 14. She's going to be a teenager in 3 years' time, right? Like, imagine 3 years, and imagine the breakthroughs that could potentially happen within these 3 years that you could be a part of or you can take advantage of. And imagine just sitting there waiting for the 3 years and everything's passing you by. You're not doing anything. That being said, I am doing stuff because we continue to do our ABA, our speech, our OT, our PT. We continue to do stuff. But in the world of Rett, I've been doing so much research and there's a lot happening. So I want to be in on that, right? If she does have Rett syndrome. Okay, so I decided to take things, because the doctors can't do anything at this point. We have to wait for the 3 years. So I decided to take things into my own hands. And parents, we have to advocate for our kids. We have to they can't do it for themselves. The doctors have a gazillion patients. We have to stand up and then we have to advocate for our kids. So I took things into my own hands. So what I did, I called the Ontario RETT Syndrome Association. I called them and I got a really nice lady on the line and I explained to her, look, this is what's happening. My daughter was diagnosed with autism, conditional Rett. Her neurologist really thinks that she has Rett syndrome. There's a 3-year wait time at the hospital. What do I do? And she said, to be honest, there's nothing that I can do. I have to get the genetics testing done for her to be seen in their world, right? Because we can't just walk in and say, oh, we think she has Rett syndrome, but we don't have any tests. So I'm like, okay, how can you help me get my daughter tested? So she gave me a bunch of numbers. She's like, I don't know what I can do really on my end, but I'm going to give you a bunch of numbers. Call these people, talk to them, explain to them, see what can be done. So guess what? I did just that. So I did a bunch of calls, and I ended up getting through to Holland Bloorview, which is a great establishment here in Toronto. Holland Bloorview. I ended up speaking to somebody really nice there, and what she did, she said to me, this is what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to give you the actual requisition for blood work that your daughter needs to test for that the MECP2. Get your doctor to fill it out and take it from there. Okay, so she sends me the requisition. I called my doctor, the pediatrician. I called her and I said, I have this. And this is why I have this, because this did not happen. There's a 3-year wait time. I can't wait 3 years. I need to get this done. So I have this. I want to bring it to you so you can fill it out and send Shayla to get her blood work done. She said to me, but we've already done this blood work and it came back normal female. I'm like, I understand. But between when Shayla was 3 years old, Shayla is now 11 years old, a lot could have happened. A lot could have changed in the world of tests and stuff like that. I want to do it again. So she decided to sign it up for me, and she sent it back to me. She said, okay, I've done this for you. Now you now go to Sick Kids. I'm like, okay, so I believe she signed it. I can take this to Sick Kids Hospital. Call Sick Kids. They're like, no, your doctor has to do it for you. I'm like, oh my God, how many roadblocks am I going to face just trying to help my child get tested? I really don't want the diagnosis. I don't want it. I don't want it for her. But I need to know what's going on with her. So they said, no, the doctor has to do it. So I called the doctor back weeks later, hearing nothing, multiple messages, hearing nothing. Then during this time, something else happened with Shayla, and I posted a video on it. But Shayla, something started happening where all of a sudden, this came all of a sudden, where Shayla, like if she stands up or she's walking, her right leg would freeze. Her right leg would freeze and would start shaking. It's almost as if it's a muscle spasm and my baby's in pain. And this started happening and I ignored it. I'm like, okay, this is maybe just something, she's going through something for a little bit. Whatever, it's gonna pass. It didn't pass. It started getting worse, where Shayla would completely crunch over, and just the look on her face, to the point where I called the doctor and I said, this is happening. What could this be? We went in, I showed him a video, and then he's like, what's the update on the RETT syndrome? He couldn't really say what this was. Now, Sean's family, including Sean, was diagnosed with, and I hope I say this right, Shakimori tooth. He was diagnosed with that. So we thought that this was what that was. So we told the doctor, this, okay, so dad has this. He was actually diagnosed with this, and this affects your legs, the way you walk and everything. So Shayla may have that. So he said, okay, we're going to go to Sick Kids Hospital to get tested for that. Referral sent in, we're waiting for Sick Kids. In the meantime, I got a complete scare with Shayla. While we're waiting for this, another incident happened where Shayla, this thing happened to her where she completely froze. And because I was in a hurry, I kind of sort of hurried her on, pulled her, and her whole right leg went limp. When I tell you, Shayla's leg, it just died on her. Her leg was completely gone to the point where it was dragging. I screamed, like I didn't know what to do. I felt so bad for her, for me rushing her and seeing my baby go through this. It was one of the hardest things that I've seen so far in Shayla's life, just seeing her leg completely go and dragging. So she came out of that quickly, because what I did, I massaged, and she came out of it quickly. So that right there, that scare just heightened me even more. And I'm like, no, I cannot be waiting around for these doctors. I need something done. So I call all the doctors again. I'm like, I need to get this done. I actually literally went and sat in the doctor's office with all the paperwork. I'm like, I can't do this for myself. You have to do this for me as her doctor. Right then and there, we got everything done. We got the requisition sent in. We got all the blood work done. We got everything done in a matter of, I had to physically go and sit down in the doctor's office and ensure that this was done for my child. People, we have to do what we have to do for our kids. I cannot stress that enough. We have to advocate for our kids. So we did that. We got the blood work. We got everything done. Now, here's what happened. The blood work ended up going to the wrong hospital. I'm like, these can't get any worse. Roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. We got the blood work, and now the blood work gets sent to the wrong hospital. So the doctor calls me and she tells me, Shayla's blood work, blah, 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 blah. All of these came back fine, but this blood work that we needed for the MECP2 testing, that one went to the wrong hospital. Okay, what can we do to fix this? So she's like, okay, she's gonna call the hospital where the blood is because they actually banked it. Thank God, they banked the hospital at they banked the blood work at Sick Kids Hospital. So she called Sick Kids Hospital and said, explained everything. This needs to go to the hospital in London or wherever to get tested. So they ended up doing that. So blood work, everything is where it's supposed to be. We're up to date now. So fast forward to a couple weeks later, get a missed call from the pediatrician. Okay, I call back. She's not there. She calls me back the following day. Mom, I have to tell you, we got the blood result back. I'm like, okay, hit me. Let me have it. Shayla tested for the MECP2 gene, blood, whatever it is. So officially, Shayla does have Rett syndrome. Yes. So at that time, it's like I knew it because technically the neurologist had said, you know what, at this point we can possibly go with a clinical diagnosis. And he's like, I'm going to just say this. I'm going to clinically diagnose her with Rett syndrome. But I wanted proof, right? So the blood work came back that she does have the markers. So, okay, what do we do at this point? We continue to do what we've been doing, as well as now that we have the blood work saying that she does have the MECP2 gene, let's get referred to this. And I laid it all out for her. I said, I want to be referred to Holland Bloor Review. I want to be referred to this hospital. I want to be referred to everywhere that sees Rett patients. And it's because I just want to make sure that I do everything I can at this point, to continue to do everything I can at this point for Shayla. You don't want anything to fall apart. Again, going through this one whole year transition just to get full of roadblocks, just to get this one piece of paper that says Shayla has the MECP2 gene. I don't want to go through that again. Let's fast forward. Let's just do this for her, right? So now that we have the blood work, we're hoping that we can actually get into the hospital a little bit sooner to get the genetics tested, to get the official diagnosis. But as of now, Shayla is diagnosed with Rett syndrome. The neurologist did say that Rett syndrome is under the ASD umbrella. So autism spectrum disorder, okay. But I say now that Shayla has Rett syndrome. What does this change for Shayla? It kind of sort of changes a bit, because with Rett syndrome, I believe there are stages. And I think that's what the genetics actually will tell us, where she is, what stage she is. What I'm scared for most is the fact that Rett syndrome can be regressive, and the fact that she's having this thing with her legs. I'm scared to death that she's potentially losing her leg function. Just saying it, it's very scary. And yeah, I'm praying that that's not what it is. This is something else. But yeah, that's where we are right now. Again, a year was too long. I'm happy that I did things. I wish I could have done things differently. It's unfortunate that we have to depend on the system a lot of the times, but as parents, again, we just have to stand up for our kids. So I'm happy that we have this. Again, there's a world out there under the Rett syndrome that there's so much happening. So I'm hopeful. I remain in faith. I remain prayerful for her. Again, we continue to do everything that we're doing for her, and we're hoping that we can get into the right doors and into the right treatments and so on and so forth to help. I know there's no cure, but again, to help just reduce her symptoms, or even with her legs, just to get that under control, to understand what it is. I've been doing some research on dystonia. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but this is the word. I've been doing some research on that, and hoping that I can speak to a doctor about it to confirm whether or not this is what Shayla has. But yeah, so so a lot of people were asking about this, whether or not she does have it, and a lot of our followers did comment that they believe that Shayla does have Rett syndrome. There you go. Our daughter has Rett syndrome. So Again, we continue to appreciate your prayers, your words. Thank you. I know that I went into a whole tantrum of ranting before I got to this point, but I just wanted to explain and show the steps that I had to take as a parent to get this diagnosis for my daughter, and just encourage other parents to speak up for your kids. You have to do what you have to do for your kids, right? So again, to our new subscribers, if you have not already done so, if you want to continue on this journey with us, like and subscribe, hit the notification bell. When new videos get uploaded, you'll be one of the first people to know. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we'll read all the comments and respond to all the comments. So let us know your thoughts down there, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we will see you soon. Take care.